Good morning. I'll start in English. Three main topics for today's council. Looking forward to the discussion on Repower EU and finally cutting our dependency of Russian gas. Second is the discussion on electrification, and then the topic of integration with Ukraine and Moldova. And just to start off with Repower EU, my comment is basically on behalf of Sweden. It's about time. And congratulations to the Danish presidency who managed to finalize this early on during this fall. I think this sends a great message, a message of strength to Russia in these very troublesome times as well. We have pushed on behalf of Sweden for a very ambitious level to this, and now it's time to start walking the talk, and I look forward to finalizing this today. My main comment on electrification is basically the possibilities that comes with electrification. It's not a fantasy. It is very much a Swedish reality. As Swedish media knows, I just had a groundbreaking ceremony in Luleå for a new steel plant for SSAB. Managing to deliver electricity to their steel plant will cut Swedish emissions by 7%. The total of Sweden's emission by 7%. So this example, I think, shows that electrification truly is the way to be able to combine competitiveness, economic growth, cutting emissions, and taking our security very, very seriously. Last, I really just want to emphasize our long-term support for Ukraine. I'm happy that we have representation from Ukraine here today, although we don't have the minister himself present today because of the last few days' horrible attacks on the energy system of Ukraine once again. But this is the reason that this is our long-term, most prioritized foreign policy issue, the support of the Swedish people to Ukraine. Last but not least, just want to comment on the meeting that I just stepped out of this morning, and you just met with my Romanian colleague, first time not a Swede or a French minister leading the nuclear alliance. I think that's also a great signal. Today we were happy to welcome Estonia as full members of the nuclear alliance, and also with Greece as observers. And I mean, Greece is not known to be a nuclear power nation. I think this is very significant to have a non-nuclear power EU nation join the nuclear alliance and emphasize the need for more fossil-free baseload, welcoming more nuclear power into the Union, whether or not the member state itself will actually build more nuclear power. This is in line with what we're seeing with the NB8 countries as well. Sweden just hosted a Nordic nuclear investment summit on nuclear issues, making starting off Sweden as sort of a hub for new nuclear investments in the Baltic Sea region. And this is the shift that we're seeing also in Denmark. They might not be building new nuclear themselves, but they see and acknowledge the need for it in the system as a whole. So I think this is a quite big trend shift within the European Union, send a very strong message to the Commission as well. Okay.
Om Repower EU och beslutet som ni då ska fatta idag, kan du förklara vad innebär det här?
Men det här innebär ju nu att alla medlemsstater åtar sig att ta fram en detaljerad, konkret plan för hur man helt ska kapa sitt beroende utav rysk gas. Och det kommer att ske i steg, men senast 1 januari 2028 så ska man nu ha lyckats kapa detta. Och det är ju anledningen till att jag som svensk minister säger också it's about time. Det är hög tid att vi lyckas ta det här steget. Men det är ett stort steg. Det har varit stor turbulens inom unionen i den här frågan, och det är stort att vi lyckas få detta över mållinjen.
Att vissa länder då skulle få till 2028 på sig, det är ju flera år framåt i tiden och det är ganska många miljarder som pumpas in i Putins krigskassa. Är det här bra nog?
Nej, men vi hade gärna sett att detta hade skett betydligt tidigare och med en högre ambitionsnivå. Men läget ser ut som det gör, och det är otroligt viktigt att visa på enighet och att vi lyckas få detta över mållinjen överhuvudtaget. Och samtidigt i andra änden så trycker vi på med hårda sanktioner. Vi är uppe i många antal sanktionspaket nu, och det kommer ju fortsatt behöva vara en nödvändig väg framåt parallellt med att vi nu skiftar bort ifrån rysk gas, äntligen.
Apropå enighet där, nu pratar ni visserligen om gas, men när det gäller, om vi tittar på olja, så är det ju 2 länder som har undantag, Ungern och Slovakien, som inte alls har försökt fasa ut det där, utan snarare kanske tvärtom. Ungern köper betydligt mer olja från Ryssland nu jämfört med före det fullskaliga kriget startade. Hur ser du på det?
Jag kan bara beklaga det. Och samtidigt så erkänner vi att de har en helt annan geografisk situation än vad många andra EU-medlemsländer har. Men jag hoppas att i diskussioner som kanske rör andra energifrågor, kan handla om till exempel tillgången till kärnbränsle som Ungern behöver för sina kärnkraftverk, att man kanske skulle kunna hitta en konstruktivare väg framåt, om det går att hjälpa dem i att stärka andra delar av deras energisystem, att de då också skulle kunna ta ytterligare steg här. Men det är klart att vi har ju fördömt och delar ju inte deras syn på deras vägval.
Som jag förstår det, när jag pratar med experter, så kan de faktiskt ersätta den ryska oljan med olja från Kroatien rent kapacitetsmässigt. Det skulle vara dyrare bara. Tycker du det vore okej att EU pumpar in, alltså genom form av finansiellt stöd för att kompensera dem?
Vi har ingen konkret svensk ståndpunkt på specifikt den lösningen, men vår viljeriktning är ju väldigt tydlig, och där har vi varit beredda att vara, så att säga, väldigt konstruktiva och kreativa i lösningar, så länge slutresultatet är att vi blir av med vårt stora ryska beroende som vi fortfarande har, samtidigt som det är ett fullskaligt invasionskrig på europeisk mark. Så jag har svårt att se att vi inte skulle kunna vara på något vis hjälpsamma i en sån lösning.
Just Ungern har ju också rysk kärnkraft på sätt och vis, i och med att det är ryska Rosatom som bygger deras kärnkraftverk och liknande. Hur ser du på det?
Ja, vi har ju från svensk sida via Westinghouse i Västerås lyckats hjälpa Ukraina i att fasa ut sitt beroende utav ryskt kärnbränsle till exempel. Och de har ju också ryskbyggda kärnkraftverk på Ukrains territorium. Så det är ju klart att vi skulle ju gärna vilja se den typen utav lösning, och att vi bistår från Sveriges sida till fler EU-länder på samma sätt. Och det här har jag ju med ganska tydlig skärpa också markerat till mina EU-vänner.
The European Parliament has already agreed its position on the Repower EU proposals, and it wants to accelerate the timeline on both oil and gas. Obviously, the position among member states has not yet been agreed, but do you see an appetite to go faster?
From a Swedish perspective, definitely, and I've made it very clear. My comment today is it's about time. I'm happy the Danish presidency managed to bring this far and across the finish line as it seems today, but it truly is about time, and it is a quite lengthy timeline also to fulfill this commitment that we are setting out today. Any way where we can be constructive and creative in increasing the tempo of that timeline, Sweden will be here to assist.
Question about nuclear. Obviously the EU-US trade deal talks about this very large amount of energy imports that the EU should engage with, and the Commission is talking about some of that being nuclear. How much potential do you actually see for a large amount of nuclear imports of technology and so on from the US?
No, but I think there is great potential to this, but I think that the main answer should be that the European Union now does its own homework. We have a clear majority for technology neutrality, i.e. also paving way for fossil-free baseload sources as nuclear power. Within the Union, we have a majority in Parliament, we have a clear majority in the Council, and things are now shifting dramatically from the Commission as well. What I've asked the Commission today in today's meeting is be mindful of the double command that we are signaling now, having documents moving in the right direction on one end, and some old documents still putting nuclear in the same category as tobacco or forbidden arms or even trafficking. And this is what we'd like to see, a sort of streamlining of all of the systems. And given the conference that we just had in Stockholm that I referred to earlier, we are seeing how the private capital around the world, we have representation from JP Morgan, Citibank and so forth on stage in Stockholm, they all point to this. Why is not private capital being allocated to the European market at the same rate as in China, for example, or in Northern America? And it is for the very simple reason that it's not being treated the same as investments in renewable power sources. And I think, could we manage to see a sort of cleaning up of the funding, EU funding and regulations on that side simultaneously with the new documents incoming, then that would be, we would see a major shift in how much would we depend on, for example, the US, and how much could we fix on our own.
Great. On a separate topic also, what is your response to the reports that Germany will stick with its single bidding zone?
Well, so this is not something that I could control. I could not command Germany to do otherwise. But I mean, it's very clear we are holding the Hansa Power Bridge, a new large interconnector to Germany, for the very fact that they are not adding more baseload to the system, which means we're not getting as much as we could have possibly gotten out of the grid connection that we could do. It would be very costly in relation to what we could get in return. We are the number one country within the European Union that imports the least and that exports the most to the system. So it truly is, if the Commission is now asking all of us to interconnect even more, Sweden is the one country that is probably the most interconnected with other nations. What's in it for us? We are doing exactly what the Commission is now planning to roll out for the whole of the European Union, and I can tell you it will not be the answer. It will be costly, it will not be able to increase consumption from industry, and you will see more friction, like we've seen between Denmark and Norway, for example, where more countries will hold on interconnections if we are not adding more baseload. I'm very happy and welcoming of the leadership of Katharina Reiche and the way she's navigating the energy issues. But of course, we would like to see more bidding zones in Germany, and I myself would like to be able to move to one bidding zone in the future for Sweden, because this has caused a massive friction between the northern part and the southern part of Sweden. But the answer to this is I do my homework and add more baseload to my system. But we will propose new bidding zones next year. So look out for that. Yes, for Sweden. And this is because the system that we were asked to use from a European level did not take into consideration a lot of the decisions that we had already made for the Swedish energy system. So it turned out with very sort of weird versions of possible bidding zones that were not true to reality. So this is why we are redoing that whole operation, and we will have a new proposal in the spring next year. Super. Thank you so much. Have a good day.